So in Lois Lowry's The Giver, you've got this world that looks absolutely perfect on the surface, right? But the whole thing is built on a foundation of secrets. Today, we're going to dive deep into this single chapter where that foundation just cracks wide open, focusing on the precise moment a young boy's entire reality is shattered forever.
We start right in the middle of pure chaos. And let's be clear, this is not some kid throwing a tantrum. No way. This is the sound of a soul literally breaking. Jonas is hysterical, and he's refusing to go back to a home that has, in a single instant, become a house of lies.
So what on earth could cause a breakdown like that? Well, Jonas has just witnessed something that should be impossible. He saw his own father, a man he knows as a gentle nurturer, murder a newborn twin. Now, the community has a nice, clean word for it, release. But Jonas now holds the memory of what death really is, and he sees the awful truth. His father is a killer, and his entire world is a lie.
Jonas's way of coping with this is, wow, it's fascinating. He just erupts in this cruel, vicious sarcasm, perfectly mimicking the polite, emotionless obedience that defines his whole society. By doing that, he's throwing the horror of their actions right back in their faces. It's really the only weapon he has against a system he just can't accept anymore.
And this gets to the very heart of the conflict. For Jonas, who now feels the true weight of human memory, the act is murder. Simple as that. But for the community, which chose this life of sameness, a world with no color, no deep feelings, no real choice, it's just a practical procedure. They literally don't have the words or the feelings to even comprehend how horrific it is.
And that's when the giver steps in with this absolutely crucial point. He's not defending the act, not at all, but he's explaining the people doing it. The people aren't evil. They're just products of a system that was specifically built to get rid of choice, pain, and knowledge. In a really terrifying way, they're innocent.
This whole personal trauma for Jonas ends up pulling back the curtain on the cold, philosophical foundation of their dystopia. You know, it raises the question, how can good people do such terrible things? The book's answer is chillingly simple. You take away their ability to feel.
And it gets even more chilling. Jonas asks about his friend Fiona, and the giver reveals that she's actually being trained to perform releases herself. And she can do it cheerfully, efficiently. Why? Because, as the giver says, feelings are not part of the life she's learned. Just imagine that profound loneliness. You and only one other person in your entire world can actually feel. And this right here, this is the catalyst. For years, the giver has carried the pain of all of humanity's past. But it's this deep, crushing loneliness, this realization that memories are meant to be shared, that finally convinces him the system can't just be tolerated anymore. It has to be broken.
So, just like that, despair turns into action. In a single night, Jonas and the giver go from grief to being full-on revolutionaries. They come up with this desperate, audacious plan to tear down the walls of their so-called utopia.
Now, the plan they come up with is complex and incredibly risky. First, for 2 weeks, the giver is going to fortify Jonas, just pumping him full of memories of courage and strength. Then, Jonas will create a distraction. He'll fake his own accidental death by the river. The last step is the escape itself, with Jonas hidden in a vehicle while the giver stays behind to control the story.
But this whole thing isn't just about Jonas saving himself. The real goal is to set off a kind of memory bomb. The theory is that if Jonas can just get to the border of elsewhere, all the memories he carries, of war, love, pain, color, you name it, will just flood back into the minds of everyone in the community.
But there's a heartbreaking catch to the plan. Jonas begs his mentor, his only real friend, to escape with him. The giver refuses, and his painful choice, well, it reveals everything about his character and his sense of duty.
His reason is all about responsibility. He knows that when the memories come rushing back, the community is going to panic. They'll be overwhelmed by feelings they can't even begin to understand. He has to stay behind to be their guide, to help them through the chaos he's about to unleash. He's sacrificing his own escape so that they can survive.
And his sacrifice is even deeper than Jonas realizes. The giver admits he's weakened. He's passed so much to Jonas that he can't see colors anymore. But he reveals he kept a secret gift for himself, something he calls hearing beyond. It's the ability to hear music, and it's the final, beautiful memory he wants to give Jonas before he leaves.
And this leads us to the emotional core of the entire chapter, and the real, final reason the giver has to stay. And trust me, it's not just about duty to the community. This is deeply, deeply personal.
Jonas makes one last heartbreaking plea. It's the cry of a child who feels like he's being abandoned by the only real father figure he has ever known. He just wants them to be together.
And the giver's reply is a total bombshell. He tells Jonas he loves him, but that after his work is done, he wants to be with his daughter. Wait, a daughter? This is a complete shock to both Jonas and to us. We never knew he had a child.
Her name was Rosemary, and with that one name, the final piece of the puzzle just clicks into place. She was the receiver in training before Jonas. The memories of pain became too much for her to bear, and she chose release. So the giver didn't just lose a student, he watched the community kill his own daughter. His final act isn't just about saving them, it's about earning the right to finally join her.
And so, this chapter forces us to face the central question of the entire book. To create a world without pain, the community sacrificed art, color, love, and choice. They traded real freedom for the illusion of safety. The price of their sameness was their humanity. It really makes you think, what is the true cost of a perfect world?